We're gonna skip the music today. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pushing the Line Sports. Magic Bets, 615 Parlay Slayer. The pain in my side half the time, but
Man,
hey,
gotta get your stick out the mud.
hey, man, there you go. So we were gonna talk about uh, some NBA offseason stuff, but you guys chimed in, said you want to talk about some NFL. So we're gonna start out with at least this show and possibly another one to two other shows to get it wrapped up. We're gonna talk about NFL free agency, the draft, some team needs, breakout players, team outlooks, you name it. We're gonna try to cover it.
I'm here for it. I'm ready. I got some shit to say and some shit
Hey,
to
Mike, let me
start.
know when somebody talks in chat so I can make sure my chat is working.
Oh, okay.
'Cause, it was not working last time. But let's start out with the Buffalo Bills, team that went pretty far in the playoffs last year. They did. I wouldn't say they made any splashes in the offseason, but they made moves that's going to help the team. Oh, there we go. We got Smeezy and Abe up in here. What's up?
See, I'm getting them in here.
I see. I see. Man, they say your
I'm
gray
letting the
is
gray grow. They said it is wisdom, so I should be one of the most wisest people on earth right now. So we
that's
gonna
what
see how this go, man.
that's why I keep my shit trimmed so people don't think I'm wise and call ask me a whole bunch of questions.
But you asked about Buffalo, so I'm gonna be the fact and interesting stuff guy today. So Buffalo created something that's called the Everybody Eats offense. Have you heard of that before?
I have heard it mentioned, and with the moves that they made, I can understand because they don't have the only person they got there that feel like they gotta have the ball is James Cook.
Yeah, and he's on a contract. He got some contract stuff going right now. So for y'all, those of y'all that don't know, Everybody Eats offense. Buffalo spreads the ball around a lot. There's no one person that focal point. Although you had Keon Coleman, you had Dalton Kincaid, who will probably be more of a focal point this year. Dawson Knox, like you said, James Cook, Khalil Shakir. They MVP season, he throwing the ball to everybody. But last year they went 13-4. They had 13 different players catch at least one touchdown pass. They tied an NFL record. So when you say they didn't make a big splash, I really don't think they needed to.
They
I think
didn't.
they just got a few holes that they need to fill up. I will say they got one of the worst red zone defenses. They had one of the worst
Hey,
red zone defenses last year. They need to
hey.
plug that up.
They made some good moves on defense. But honestly, I think a couple moves they made on offense is going to help them. Like you said, it's the everything eats offense. They signed two serviceable wide receivers that would not be a star in anybody's offense, but they
Hmm.
will serve their purpose in this offense. They got Elijah Moore, who was with Cleveland last year, and then they got Josh Palmer, who was with the Chargers last year.
Yeah, Josh Palmer is a. I think he'll make up for that deep threat that Gabe Davis was. That's kind of like his. He does more than that. Don't get me wrong, but if you watch the Chargers offense, whenever Herbert wanted to throw a bomb, usually it went to Josh Palmer.
Yep, and they re-signed Khalil Shakir to an extension, 4 years, up to 60 million. So that was a key signing for him. Now, you said they had the worst red zone off defense last year. They
Hmm.
they addressed the defense in a lot of ways in the draft and in free agency. They picked up what's his name, Joey Bosa. That's going to
Yeah,
help their rush.
he
They
got to
uh
stay healthy, man.
they signed Christian Benford, Dane Jackson. They brought back Tre'Davious White. They got Derek Forrest from Washington. Re-signed Damar Hamlin. They picked up a few people in the draft, which was they got Harrison from Kentucky.
Hmm.
They also got TJ Sanders from South Carolina to help shore up that line, and then Landon Jackson from Arkansas. Are you familiar with Landon Jackson?
I've heard of him at Arkansas. I've heard of him. They did a special on him on College Game Day, so I have heard of him. But when it comes to tight ends in college football, it was all about uh, Tyler
No,
Warren and stuff and
he a
switch
defensive end.
and switch to tight end.
No, he's an edge rusher.
Oh, you said tight end. Okay,
No,
my bad.
no, I said end, and when I said
Oh,
end, it
you
probably
said
sounded like
end.
tight.
I thought okay.
Yeah.
I went straight to tight end. Okay, I
So
got you.
this kid is probably going to be one of the I want to say surprise of the draft, but he's not a surprise anymore.
Hmm.
Look up some videos on him, and you're gonna see a funny video of him at a camp where he's running and just slapping the dummy, running, slapping the dummy, and he looked like a wiry kid, no muscle mass or anything on him, and he's made a total transformation at Arkansas. If you see the
Okay,
video, you're gonna laugh.
I'm gonna check it out. I need the Bills to figure out a way to beat the Chiefs in January. When we talk about all these things, the only thing that haunts the Bills, man, they can't win a game in January, and if they do, they can't beat the Chiefs. They beat the Ravens. They can beat any other team you put in front of them, but once they play Kansas City, man, it's like it's just a little small stuff too, and
Yeah.
they just go away from it. Josh
Well,
Allen turns into the 2022 Josh Allen.
you got to think this will be the first year in a while that they've had continuity in their coaching staff from year to year. So maybe that'll be what helps get them over the edge. And like we talked about earlier, they made a few moves that's going to help them out in the long run.
Yeah. Now they did get
Jamar,
rid of Von Miller. Von Miller he wasn't the all pro Von Miller, but when you needed a play, you had the old vet that went out there and made a play. So hopefully they can replace that. Like you said, they got Tre'Davious White back. We gonna see, man. I mean, they still the favorites to win the AFC East. I don't think that's really their concern. Their concern is beating Kansas City.
yep. And the conversation with every last one of these teams is it's going to depend on their health. If they stay healthy, I think Buffalo's going to be right there in the conference championship.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jamal. They still ain't making it to the Super Bowl.
Oh Lord, hey man, you got to play them referees when you play Kansas City. All right, I think my personal opinion on the breakout player this year for them would be Dalton Kincaid.
He has to be. I mean, because we talking about fantasy, so he has to be their focal point. I feel overall, I kind of want to argue Keon Coleman, but I feel like Dalton Kincaid is going to be that number one.
We just sit here and talked about their whole offense and then bring up Keon Coleman. He had a couple of mishaps on offense last year. I mean, he's young, but he's
Hmm.
talented. He's a kid with a good head on his shoulders, and if he put it together this year, he's got the talent to be a solid 1A or a solid number two receiver.
Oh yeah, most definitely. The kid got all the talent in the world. He just got to put it together. He had a couple of little injuries last year, but I think he's gonna be okay.
All right, let's move on to the Miami Dolphins.
So I got a crazy stat. I didn't know this. I didn't know Miami hasn't won a playoff game since 2000. That's shocking for me. I didn't know that.
I I didn't know that either. I know there was something going around when they play at a certain temperature. If it's 32 or below,
Yeah,
they don't
yeah,
win
they're
nothing.
gonna lose every time. Hmm.
But they made a splash last week by they made a trade for Darren Waller, who came out of retirement. They made a trade with Giants to get him. Um, then they also traded Jalen Ramsey to the Steelers and got
Mm-mm.
Minka Fitzpatrick back.
Mm-mm. I don't like that Darren Waller, man. I don't. I still think he heartbroken over Kelsey Plum.
I
I
would be
just,
too.
he had some off the field stuff. I'm not worried about that. I'm not trading away Jonnu Smith for
Nope,
Darren Waller.
nope.
I ain't doing that. Now, as far as Minka go, he was drafted by the Dolphins, correct?
Yes, Correct.
drafted by the Dolphins. So he comes back home. The Dolphins, they had the crazy part about Miami, all the names that you know, Tua, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, uh, Devon Achane, all offense. They had a middle of the pack offense last year. Their defense is the one that kept them in games last year. They had a top 10 ranked overall defense last year.
Uh, I know we talking about the Dolphins, but speaking of this trade, I feel sorry for the Steelers because they
Ooh,
think
why?
that because when the news comes out, oh, we getting DK Metcalf. Oh, we got him paired up with George Pickens. A few weeks later, George Pickens traded. Then the news come out on this trade. Oh, we getting Jalen Ramsey to pair with Minka Fitzpatrick. Oh, Minka Fitzpatrick's part of the trade.
Hmm. It's
They get screwed.
I don't really know what to expect from the Dolphins this year. Most of the Dolphins' problems it comes with health. You can always expect Jalen Waddle to miss 3 or 4 games. Um, Tyreek Hill had what was it his wrist that he hurt? He had a wrist injury last year that was nagging. He still played.
Was
He
that
had
from
an
the
off
handcuff?
season last year. Probably so from where they put him on the ground. It was he said he was injured before that, but I hope that's passed and out the way. Of course, Tua, you always worry about any head injury anytime, any of that. Um, A-Chan, he gets banged up. They got to stay healthy. If they stay healthy, I think they'll be okay. They'll fight for a playoff spot. Health is their biggest issue.
So a player they got that I really hate they got cause he came from the Titans. Nick Westbrook Jr.
He should help them a lot. For him to be a third option, that's saying something. Maybe even fourth, depending on what version of Darren Waller you get.
I mean, pairing him with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddell is gonna already open up some more stuff for them because he's Mr. Reliable in the red zone.
Hmm.
Um, then
Didn't he have a streak last year? He caught like 6 or 7 touchdowns a
uh,
game in a row.
something
He
like
had
that.
some kind of streak. Yeah.
Then they also they signed a backup for Tua, Zach Wilson, who was a former first round draft pick. Been getting the short end of the stick everywhere he goes. Maybe this coach can do something with him if Tua goes down. Who knows?
Yeah, he may be Josh Rosen 2.0.
Same draft.
Josh Rosen actually went to the Dolphins too, which is crazy.
Yep. They also got Ryan Stonehouse from the Titans.
Why did y'all let him go?
I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know. Even I was surprised when it happened, but looking at some of the fan groups, everybody was surprised. Maybe they know something everybody else don't know.
He a hell of a kicker.
Mm. He is punter. You said kicker, punter.
Punter,
punter,
punter, punter.
punter. Um, this team's going to depend on Tua staying healthy.
Period. One thing, if you're a Dolphin fan, I can give you. Every time Tyreek Hill has a bad year, he comes back the next season and has put up all pro numbers. That's all the hope I got for you right now. That's all the hope I got for you. We
I don't
was
think
go ahead.
no. I was just gonna say I don't think they really made any splashes in the draft. They did get Quinn Ewers. Um, he'll probably be on the roster as a backup, and they got Ollie Gordon in the sixth round from Oklahoma State. Ollie Gordon was originally a second or third round projected pick going into
Mhm.
last year, so he might work out. And they got Jason Marshall from Florida to play cornerback.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about the Dolphins, like you said, is health. This is a team that we just 2 years removed. They put up 70 points on somebody. So to say the next season that they was a middle of the pack offense, injuries, man, they got to stay healthy. You got a dynamic running back in Devin A. Every time he touched the ball, he can go 60, 70, 80 yards.
And then
They they
they got Jalen Warren still as backup, and then adding Ollie to the mix. I mean, you got a rotation if you need it.
yeah, that's Jalen Wright. You talking about running back?
Yeah, what I say, Jalen
Yeah,
Warren. Who the hell is Jalen
from
Warren?
Pittsburgh. I knew what you meant. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But they got speed, they got skills, they got talent, they got everything that they need.
They
It's
just
just
got
like
to put it together.
Jamal said, they need some different trainers. You right, because they always hurt. Ain't no way you should live in Miami and always be hurt. Miami is like one of the most fit places to be. Like you should be ready to roll.
I mean, you should be, but if you stay out late at the club, Miami is a party city. So
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I've been there, so I can definitely atone to that.
I'm trying to stay away from Miami. All right, we got the New England Patriots. They've had an interesting offseason so far. They got Vrabel. They got McDaniels back as the offensive coordinator, which is where he belongs as an offensive coordinator. Stefan Diggs can't stay out of the news.
Well, I think he just broke up with Cardi B, so maybe he'll be okay. He said her butt stink, so maybe that'll help him.
Her BBL got that smell.
That's what he said, man. I look, that's for another day. Maybe he can focus now.
Yeah, I think Josh McDaniels being back as the offense coordinator is going to help Drake May. Drake May did not have a bad year last year, but
Mm-mm.
I think he can improve because Josh McDaniels is not a head coach, which he's had a couple opportunities at that. He is an offensive mastermind though.
It's hard to say. I'm trying to think what he's done without Tom Brady.
Valid question.
Play the Jeopardy music. 'Cause
Valid question.
is almost see like for me, we said this same thing about Sean Payton about him being an offensive genius, and I questioned it. But now he got Bo Nix. The way he made Bo Nix and that offense look last year, and we wasn't expecting nothing. I got to fall back. So if you can take Drake May with this offense that he got a few weapons. I don't think he really ever had to look over his shoulder anyway. I think Jacoby Brissett was just a transition piece. They traded Joe Milton away. Joe Milton is with the Cowboys now. So
It
I
might
mean,
end up starting.
we're gonna get to that, but let's see what they do, man. Let's see what they do.
So on offense, of course they got Drake May back. They've got Antonio Gibson back at running back. They drafted Travion Henderson out of Ohio State. And they still got Ramondre Henderson. I mean Stevenson.
Hmm.
Of course they had Kayshawn Butte last year. He's back. Stephon Diggs got signed. They signed Mac Hollins from Buffalo. I can't believe Buffalo let him go.
Can't either. He was big for them last year.
Yep. And then they still got Jalen Polk, and they drafted Cal Williams out of Washington, or was it
They
Washington
still
State?
got Pop Douglas too, right?
Yeah, he's still there.
Okay.
I believe so.
He
Yeah,
got some weapons.
he does.
What's the two tight ends? Oh my goodness, I can't think of the main tight end.
Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper.
Hunter Henry. There you go, Hunter Henry. He played well for him last year.
Yep.
They got weapons, man. I want to see how Josh McDaniels and Ashton Grant do with Drake May. Ashton Grant is their QB coach, by the way. But just want to see how they look. Do they look better? Do they look like they have a future? Can they at least win 7 or 8 games? I don't expect them to go to the playoffs. I don't expect them to do none of that. But also, they took my defensive tackle. They got Milton Williams from the Eagles. They spent some money this offseason. They got Carlton Davis,
Harold
uh,
Landry,
Harold Landry, Spillane
K'Lavon
from
Chaisson,
Detroit. Yeah. So they spent some money to look good.
Carlton
So
Davis.
we're gonna see.
Yeah. It'd definitely be a different team than what we saw last year.
And they got the third easiest strength of schedule this year, according to depending on who you ask.
Well, they might slip into a wild card on accident and get their ass whooped in the playoffs.
They should. You know, they was the reason Cincinnati didn't make the playoffs last year. If you want to believe in that, because they beat Cincinnati week one, and
Hmm.
Cincinnati needed that one win, and that was the one win that cost them. I believe, and most believe, the reason Cincinnati didn't get to the playoffs. But this next team is interesting for sure.
Very interesting. Um, you know, they just got the coach from Detroit, Aaron Glenn, who's
Hmm.
defense coordinator and a big voice in that locker room in Detroit. Hopefully, he can come in and help change the culture. But for this team, the owner is going to have to be hands off.
Yeah, stop listening to your sons too.
I'm glad you said it because I was thinking it. His son didn't like the Madden ratings last year, so he felt like what was he wasn't going to sign somebody because of their Madden rating.
Yeah, that's
Who was
exactly
that?
what it was.
It was a wide receiver, I believe.
I forgot. Man, we can always look it up and see. Something ridiculous. They should have fired him then.
Yeah. Oh, was it Brandon Cooks?
I don't know.
But anyway, they made a few moves themselves. They went ahead and signed Justin Fields, who should have been
You
re-signed by the Steelers.
shit, they remodeled. They de Aaron Rodgers themselves. If you
Yes.
had anything to do with Aaron Rodgers, your ass is not there no more.
um, I'm looking at some of they made some subtle moves on defense, but their main move was getting Justin Fields to run that offense. Hopefully they tailor it to his skill set, because he's got talent, but
He does.
he's not a true pocket passer.
Mm-mm.
They picked up a tight end and drafted Mason Taylor, who was Jason Taylor's dad. I mean son. Remember Jason Taylor?
Oh yeah, for the Dolphins. You
Yeah.
know the thing about Justin Fields, he's not a pocket passer, but he throws the ball well.
Yep.
If you remember him from Ohio State when he first came out, that's the reason why he went so high. Now, if I ain't mistaken, Garrett Wilson and him was teammates, right?
Yes.
At least he had Garrett Wilson. Now he did have Chris Olave as well, so he had some wide receivers to
Mhm.
spin it to. But this is you reunite with Garrett Wilson. You still got. I think Brees Hall can be a dynamic running back. I think you can use him kind of how Detroit uses Jameer Gibbs and
Yep.
throw him the ball instead of just handing him the ball out the backfield. He's a weapon. Um, I think
Yep.
they upgraded their offensive line. They drafted what's his name, Armand Mimbo. I think that's how you say that. So,
They
and that was
they
one of
still
the
got
things.
Braylon Allen too.
Still got Braylon Allen. Uh, I think that was one of the things that really hampered them was the offensive line. They had one of the worst offensive lines. It was bad. And then what made it even bad,
Did they really have a horrible offensive line, or did they just have a slow ass quarterback back there not getting
I
things
think
done?
it may have been a mixture of both because they traded Mekhi Becton to Philadelphia and we went on to win the Super Bowl with him. And then we just traded him. He gone now. So you may be right. It may just be that they had an old ass quarterback back there.
No, I'm looking at their offensive line. They ain't got no great offensive line. They got a couple of young pieces that they can build on. I mean, they got Ola Fashanu that they drafted out of Penn State. He's gonna be a centerpiece there. And then you say Mimbo that they just drafted. They got their bookend tackles. If they
Yeah.
work on the middle of that line, they might be all right.
I think the problem for him, I hope he doesn't do how he did in Chicago where he was just force feeding the ball to DJ Moore and do that to Garrett Wilson. Now, for fantasy purposes, it'll be cool. But other than Garrett Wilson, Uh, who is their wide receiver too? Who's their
Um,
second best receiver?
they got
Do
a
they?
they got a few. They got they got Garrett Wilson. They drafted Arian Smith out of Georgia. Uh, Josh Reynolds, who was with Denver last year, actually had a pretty good year. And then they still got Alan Lazard and then Xavier Gibson. Than that, a bunch of nobodies.
Tyler Conklin still there, tight end.
Yeah, no, Conklin's gone.
Damn.
Tight
So who was
end,
their tight end?
a bunch of nobodies. Mason Taylor might get a chance to start.
Yeah, that
They
ain't
got
good.
two. They got two second year tight ends, and the vet tight ends are Stone Smart and Jeremy Ruckett. Go ahead and say it. Who? Who?
No, I ain't go. I tell you what. Week one they play Pittsburgh. I hope Justin Fields come out. I ain't gonna say I hope they beat Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh. I like what I like. I love me some Mike Tomlin. I like Pittsburgh. I just want him to play well enough to where they like. I want him to outplay Aaron Rodgers. That's what I want. And I think it's at Pittsburgh, if I ain't mistaken.
I wouldn't say there's a breakout player this year, but I think the bounce back player this year for them is going to be Brees Hall.
I hope so. I really like Brees Hall.
I think he's going to have a bounce back year. They're gonna need him a little more than they need him last year. Because I guarantee you, Aaron Rodgers didn't want to just hand off the ball all the time.
Mm-mm. You know, Brees Hall owed me $300.
Owe you $300.
Every league, every fantasy league I had him in, every damn one I didn't make the playoffs in because he sucked last year.
I tell you what, you call him and ask for that 300 and see if you get
Wow, he's wears the shit. I damn sure will if I had his number.
it. Well, if you don't leave them folks alone. All right, let's move on to the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh-wee.
Man, tell me about it.
I don't even know what to say, but I tell you what, if you throw for 41 touchdowns and four interceptions, rush for 900 yards, and you still don't win MVP, I don't even know what can you do?
I mean, we
I
had
put it to you like this: if you got a quarterback that threw for 40 touchdowns and only threw four interceptions, ran for 900 yards, and came in second in MVP, and you got a running back that ran for over 1,900 yards and he was second in the NFL in rushing, how do you improve that?
so with that MVP talk, of course, we had the debate of the black and white situation, and of course, I mean that's a valid argument. But also, who was more valuable to their team? That's another a valid argument. But I think they probably should have had a co MVP if they would really want to give it to Josh Allen that bad.
Steve
It should have
McNair,
been.
Peyton Manning done it.
Yeah, I
They
mean you
played each
had
other twice and they both won a game.
you had decent arguments for both, but if you look at the numbers, it was Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and I bring that up not to talk about MVP, but it's like, what more can this man do to get this team to where they need to go? For two straight years, Zay Flowers fumbling going into the end zone. The next year, what was it, a 2 point conversion or a touchdown pass to Mark
Mark
Andrews?
Andrews. I want to say it was 2-point conversion, but it slipped right out of his hands. But you know what? They signed somebody with some goddamn hands.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Hey, if you put it anywhere within his radius,
He
he's
gonna
gonna
catch
catch
it.
that.
Hmm.
Um, I'm scared of this team this year.
This is my team. This is my pick. If you know me, we talk about football. I got the Rams and the Ravens going to the Super Bowl this year. Another thing. They got Jair Alexander from the Packers to go in that secondary. They gonna be nasty, man.
If he stays healthy, he's got Alexander's got to stay healthy. They re-signed Rashad Bateman. They still
Hmm.
got Zay Flowers. They still got Mark Andrews. They still got Isaiah Likely. You want to talk about an offense that can spread the ball around and get people involved? They've got it now.
They do,
Um,
and they picked up Noteboom from the Rams to help their offensive line.
they drafted Emory Jones out of LSU to help the offensive line. Um, Drafted Malachi Starks to be back there in the secondary. Uh,
Bulldog.
Mike Green from Marshall on the edge.
I wanted the
I mean,
Eagles to draft
the,
Malachi Starks.
these are rookies that are gonna get some. Of course, you wanted them to be the motherfucking Philadelphia
Hey,
Bulldog.
any Bulldog or Crimson Tide you can get, bring them on over.
At least you know they're gonna be coached right. Um, they still got Kyle Hamilton in the secondary. They got a team this year. They did what the Philadelphia Eagles have been doing the past couple years. They've let a few people go.
Hmm.
They don't rebuild. They just reload.
Which is what you have to do.
Yeah,
Every year, you can depend. Just being an Eagles fan, every year, if Howie Roseman don't do nothing else, he gonna pick a defensive lineman and an offensive lineman. That's what he do. And
and it's
you
worked
like you
because
said.
yeah, the Eagles have let a lot of people go in free agency that they could have signed, and it
Hmm.
was just like, fuck it, we got somebody else waiting. See something.
If this man, that's the thing about the Ravens. He's efficient. He's a nightmare. Then if he get tired, you just go back and you hand the ball to your 200-something pound running back,
And they still got Justice Hill backing up.
and that's just tough. That's just tough.
Even Keaton Mitchell got some burn last year, so it ain't
And
like
I
they ain't got
forgot,
running backs.
yeah, like you said, they got D Hop. Rashad Bateman should be healthy this year. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is gonna come out. I think he's gonna want to prove a point this year because I think
They
they
re-signed
just
Tylen
the
Wallace.
only thing that's an unknown for them, and we have to bring this up because it's a big part of their offense. They don't have Justin Tucker no more. He got released, um,
Well deserved.
for for the sexual assault, and we'll see how that plays out. But I mean, that's huge. You lose a future Hall of Famer kicker.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I had him on my fantasy team last year, and he wasn't performing like
Yeah,
he
he
did in
fell off
previous
last year.
years. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, he fell off last year. Now they got is his name Tyler Loop? That his name Tyler Loop, the kicker? They got him, so we'll see.
Yep. Tyler Loop out of Arizona.
If he comes in and if he can be efficient, because this team they gonna score the ball. That's what they do. They gonna score the ball. If they can just get you to be efficient, I ain't saying make every kick. Just be efficient. This team they can go as far as they want to go.
So at corner, they've got Nate Wiggins.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Marlon Humphrey still. They
Mm-hmm.
picked up Chidobe Awuzie,
Mm-hmm.
and they got
And
Jair
Alexander.
Alexander.
Yep.
At safety, they got Malachi Stark. Still got Kyle Hamilton, who's going to play like the star position. And then,
Mm-hmm.
who else was it? No big names. But the defense still going to be good.
Roquan Smith, Roquan Smith, uh, linebacker.
Hmm.
They loaded. They loaded, man.
Yeah.
Uh, they- go play.
Let's just say when you pick up Madden, if a motherfucker online picks them to play, you might as well go on disconnect.
This is my team. I don't want to play with. I don't like playing with the team that won the Super Bowl. I don't want to play with the Eagles. I'm either play with the Rams or the Ravens. maybe Cincinnati.
Speaking
Their
of Cincinnati,
defense. Ooh,
Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are locked in. Um, they still working on a trade for Trey Higgins, Hendrickson, right?
well, apparently they called him back in and they trying to renegotiate. But Cincinnati don't like paying people, so
And
it,
we discussed it
go ahead.
last year. You know why they don't like to pay people, right?
Refresh me and the crowd, the
Okay,
audience.
okay. So the Bengals are the only team in the league that has an owner that didn't really come from a lot of wealth. All these other teams, they got multi-billionaires. Whenever
Mm,
you
okay.
sign somebody to a guaranteed contract, you got to put that money into an escrow account so they know that it's there.
Hmm.
And they just don't have the money to put into an escrow account.
If they don't sign Hendrickson back, they're gonna have to score 40 points a game.
They're gonna do that regardless.
I know it, but shit. Ugh. Last year they was bottom. They ranked 25th in yards and points allowed. So they got to score. They just got to score, man. They got a new defensive coordinator. They got Al Golden.
Hmm.
He's a pretty good defensive coach, man. They had Logan Wilson back from injury. I really don't have much to say. I get Trey Hendrickson back. That's all I got for you.
Hey,
Offense ain't gonna be a problem.
they gonna score. You can guarantee they're gonna score. They didn't make they didn't make many splash moves in free agency or the draft for offense.
Hmm.
Um, they did draft Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M that's been holding out. There's talk about he may go back into the draft next year.
The
Barrett Carter at linebacker.
the dude
They
that they
did
doing all the little contract BS with,
yeah, Shamar Stewart. Yeah,
he can go back in the draft.
that's the rumor.
I didn't know you could do that.
Uh, I didn't either. Well, actually, you know what? John Elway did it.
Get drafted by a team and go back in the draft.
Yeah, I think
I didn't know that. I knew he was having problems, and he didn't want to sign a contract because he was the only first round draft pick that had all the BS non guaranteed money and all that stuff in there. But I didn't know you could go back in the draft.
yeah, and it's all about the language in his contract.
That's it.
And I don't have a whole lot to say about the Bengals. Just know that their offense gonna score. Their defense is gonna be a liability.
Chase Brown was a big surprise for me. I thought them losing Joe Mixon was gonna hurt him, but Chase Brown he actually fits them. He
Mhm.
did a hell of a job last year filling in for. I'm not gonna say he is Joe Mixon, but he did a hell of a job for what they needed him and wanted him to do.
He did his part,
Hmm.
and then they also signed Samaje Perine from Kansas City because your boy Mahomes wasn't gonna let him come back.
Nah, he. I mean that's good because he was with Cincinnati before anyway.
Yeah. So Cleveland Browns.
The most interesting sorry team in the NFL.
Man, stay in the news.
I feel like this is. I feel like Stefanski is a lame duck this season. You're gonna have to do something. I don't even know. First of all, I don't know why he's still there. Let's just go ahead and get this out the way. It's already been said. It needs to be confirmed. Signing Deshaun Watson was an absolute bust.
Yeah.
Can't say bust because that's draft. You just made a $230 million mistake.
Okay. You got to look at the owners, the Haslam family. One of them used to be the governor of Tennessee. The other one
Bill,
owns the yeah. The other one,
mm,
I think his name is Jim, owns the Pilots and Flying J's.
the
So they
gas
got
station.
money. Yeah,
Hmm.
they got money, but The NFL business sense is just not there.
Hmm.
They allow some of the dumbest shit in the world to go on.
Yeah, to draft Dylan Gabriel before Shador. But anyway, go ahead.
No, talk about it. That was stupid. Mm-mm.
I
That was
you get you got four quarterbacks. I'm gonna say Shador was a first or second round worthy pick. You got four quarterbacks. Who you gonna start the oldest one, Joe Flacco? I don't think that's gonna hold up. You got Kenny Pickett from the Eagles. You got Dylan Gabriel, and you got Shador Sanders. And the one that you drafted with the lowest pick, the fifth round, I believe,
has the most upside.
is probably the best quarterback that you got on your roster right now. Nick Chubb is gone. He ain't there no more. He in Houston. So who is their running back? They drafted
They
one from Ohio State, didn't
they drafted two running backs. They drafted Quinshawn Judkins and
they? Yeah.
Dylan Sampson.
Okay, from Tennessee.
Yeah,
Okay. So you got Jerry Judy. Still got Cedric Tillman. You let Jameis Winston go. He's in New York now. Got David Njoku. You re-signed Miles Garrett. Miles Garrett said he wasn't coming back for the money. At that point in time, you offered him the most money. He came back. So clearly it was for the money.
yeah, because it wasn't for the Super Bowl aspirations.
It couldn't have been. Ain't no way in hell
Uh,
it couldn't have
so,
been.
man, I remember being on the phone with you during the draft, and we were talking about I forgot exactly how the conversation went, but I was pissed off that they drafted Dylan Gabriel and Shador hadn't been drafted yet, and you was like, no, he's been
Mhm.
drafted, and I was like, by who? And I'd be damned if it wasn't them. Golly,
That's
that was a
crazy
definite,
shit.
yeah, definite debacle. They got one, two, three, four, five quarterbacks on their roster right now.
Oh, who's the
Uh,
other one?
Deshaun Watson's not playing.
Deshaun. I
We
forgot about Deshaun Watson. Damn.
damn that fast. We just got
That
to
that
talk about it.
fast. And it's
They
crazy. He tore his Achilles. So when he tore his Achilles in like week 8, week 9, somewhere in there. So when he's healthy, then what?
he's he was not the quarterback that he used to be. They're gonna have to find some kind of contract buyout or something,
Yeah,
or
I'm
eat the
just
dead cap and cut him.
I'm just hypothetically speaking. Deshaun Watson is week 10. Let's say you 5-5, and Kenny Pickett is your starting quarterback. Deshaun Watson is healthy. Dylan Gabriel he's doing good. Shador is doing good, and in practice or whatever. But you 5-5, or let's say you 2-8 or something like that. Who's quarterback you putting in? You gonna put in that you got this? You gonna put in the quarterback that you got this guaranteed money for, or you gonna put in one of your draft picks?
I don't think they have the same mindset as the Atlanta Falcons. I think they're gonna put the guy with all the money.
That's what I think too. And if it don't work, him and Stefanski, they both gone.
Yeah, yeah. This might be Stefanski's last year. They wide receiver
Yeah,
core is suspect.
other than Jerry Judy, I said Cedric Tillman. Other than that, who else?
They signed Deontay Johnson, and he's back up to his old antics. And then the rest of them are just nobodies.
Yeah, we ain't gotta talk about him.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. He back on that bullshit. They still got Njoku. Um, they drafted Harold Fanning Jr. at tight end, so you might see a lot of two tight end sets out of them. They drafted Mason Graham, a defensive tackle out of Michigan. So they're working on a defensive line.
Do you have any hope that this team can go to the playoffs?
Absolutely none. Absolutely none.
We move on.
Absolutely none. Um, Pittsburgh Steelers. We already spoke on them a little bit. Of course, they picked up Jalen Ramsey. They picked up DK Metcalf, Jonnu Smith, and Minka Fitzpatrick. Um,
Yeah.
they signed Aaron Rodgers. And honestly, up until about 2 weeks ago, I was like, these motherfuckers ain't trying to do nothing.
Mm-mm. I think if Aaron Rodgers would have retired, I don't know what they would have done.
I mean, they could have traded for one of Cleveland's quarterbacks.
They should have drafted his ass when they had the number 21 pick anyway.
hmm TJ Watt might be
Because
on the
I can
trade
tell
block.
you, TJ Watt may be on the trade block. But before we go any further, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Aaron Rodgers came out a week or so ago and said this is probably his last season. Tell me who's the backup quarterback for the Steelers right now? Is it
Mason
the
Rudolph.
dude that got hit in the head with the helmet?
Mason Rudolph, yeah.
So this is what kills the Steelers right here. The Steelers are gonna be good enough to go 9-8, 10-7, somewhere in there. They're gonna win some games they shouldn't. You know, they muck it up. They make it a defensive struggle. They put Boswell in. He'll kick 4, 5 field goals. They're gonna win 17-14, something like that. Next year, you got about 4 or 5 good quarterbacks gonna come out, and they're gonna be in the same predicament that they in this year, and gonna have like the 2021st pick, and they ain't gonna get not one of them.
Well, they drafted Will Howard, who just won a national championship.
And you might as well put him at number 2. Mason
It,
Rudolph ain't
it,
it?
it, it might happen.
Yeah, that put him in number 2.
They let Najee Harris go. They drafted Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, who was a solid running back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they still got Jalen Warren. They signed Cordell Patterson, who was going to be their third down back if he don't get
Got
cut.
D, they got DK Metcalf, and they got the world's most famous number 3 wide receiver, Robert Woods.
Uh, Hold on, they got Robert Woods.
Yeah.
They do. They still got Calvin Austin. They drafted
If
Rock
you
Taylor out of Memphis.
if I know we're not talking about fantasy yet,
Roman
but I'm gonna
Wilson.
tell you, Jonnu Smith may be just as good for Pittsburgh as he was for Miami. He may not get that many catches because Aaron Rodgers Aaron Rodgers spread the ball around. One thing he gonna do is put the ball on you. But I think Jonnu Smith can be just as good for this offense as he was for the Dolphins. I ain't saying he gonna have no 8, 9, 100 yard, 2 touchdown games or nothing like that. But I think he's gonna be very efficient with them.
So they've got Johnny Smith. They've also still got Pat Firemouth, and they got
Hmm.
Darnell Washington.
And that's the big six. Ain't he like 6'8", six
He
seven, big guy,
is Washington is 6'7", 264 out of Georgia.
big guy. Yeah,
Yeah, he may end up being on the move because I don't see them letting Firemouth go.
I don't even. I forgot about Frymu. So
He's
which one is
reliable.
tight end one?
Janu. Janu is proven. You might see a bunch of two tight end sets. They might even run some tight end sets with Firemouth flex.
Johnson needs to sign with the Bengals next year. Then he would have played with the whole AFC North. He talking about Deontay Johnson.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
shit. I think he didn't he play for like 3 teams last year. He was with the
He played for the
Panthers. He was with the
Panthers
Ravens,
and the
and didn't he
Texans.
go to the Texans?
And then he went back to the Ravens at the end of the season.
He sure did. That man got traded. Folk, man, get this trap. Get him out of here, man. Get him out of here.
uh he think he's better than he is, but he ain't.
So
All
on the
right.
other side of the ball, we talked about Pittsburgh defense before we move on. They got Jalen Ramsey. They got Darius Slay from Philadelphia. They got Joey Porter Jr. Hopefully they can work out something with TJ Watt. They still got Cam Hayward. They still got Alex Highsmith. The defense for this team ain't never the problem. It's always the offense. If they offense can do, if If their offense can average 21 or 24 points a game, I think you may have something.
It's going to depend on Aaron Rodgers' health and his attitude.
That's it. Is he really? If this is his last year, he know this is his last hurrah. Are you really gonna come in here and be the Aaron Rodgers that they need you to be?
He can't be because he's not the Aaron Rodgers that he want to be.
Well, just mentally, he mentally Aaron Rodgers still think I'm willing to bet if you sit him down and you pick his brain, he probably still think he the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And you can't. He just wired like that. I don't mind it as long as you can go out there. Because he didn't. If you go back and you look at his season he had last year, it wasn't that bad numbers wise. Looking at it on TV, it looked awful. Once him and Devontae Adams got their chemistry together by week 10, week 11, it was too late, but they looked a whole lot better. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't think they're gonna beat Baltimore.
No, hell no. We're gonna move on to the Houston Texans, but I will say this: we gonna get through the AFC today, and then Sunday we'll go over the NFC.
Shit, we
Houston
still got
Texans.
18.
Hey, we got we. I'm not on those time constraints. Um, Houston Texans. I think they helped them a lot, helped themselves a lot by signing Nick Chubb to help Joe Mixon,
Hmm.
and they still got what's your boy out of Florida, Damian Pierce.
Still got him. He's more kick and punt return though. I think.
Hell, he might end up being a trade target.
I forgot that they fired Bobby Slowick.
Man,
We was talking about last before the season started. We was talking about how he was a hot head coaching candidate. That's gone.
man, I don't get it. I wonder. I'm still wondering what went wrong with that because honestly, when they were hiring the coach for Tennessee, I want to slow it.
Yeah, I remember. I think what went wrong, they first of all, it wasn't all on CJ Stroud. He did struggle a little bit last year. His play declined. But he lost Nico Collins for at least 4 games because he went on IR. So he was gone for at least 4 or 5 games. Tank Dell had that devastating injury. He's gone for the rest of last season, and he may not play this season.
Yeah.
Then Stephon Diggs tore his ACL. He
Yeah.
really didn't have nothing.
Somebody had to be the scapegoat, and it was Bobby Slowick.
Yeah, it's not like this dude just all of a sudden forgot how to be an offensive coordinator. You take away a quarterback's three best weapons, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna struggle. And at the same time, Joe Mixon was having a hell of a season to begin the season with, but once they lost all their weapons, they start lasering in on Joe Mixon. So
Yeah.
and they still won the division.
Yeah. They offense ought to look pretty good this year. Let me see something real quick. They of course they signed Nick Chubb. They signed Braxton Berrios to be a slot wide receiver. They
Hmm.
traded for Christian Kirk. Um, they re-signed. Well, they signed Justin Watson, who was with
The
Kansas
Chiefs.
City.
Hmm.
Re-signed Irv Smith Jr. as their backup tight end. They got Cam Robinson, Trent Brown at offensive line. Actually, they rebuilt that whole offensive line pretty much.
Yep. Didn't
They
they get rid
re-signed
of
some key
Laramie
players on
Tunsil?
defense. Say what?
They got rid of Laramie Tunsil right here in Washington, I believe.
He did get traded. Yes,
Hmm.
that freed up a little bit of cap space for him. Um, then they went out and drafted Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State at wide receiver, Jalen Noel out of Iowa State.
They're gonna get him. They trying to get him some more weapons,
Oh yeah,
and I don't blame them.
I
And I
think.
think, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was finna say I think that this is his third year, right?
Yes,
He can ask for a new contract after this season, Katie. Is it 3 years
Mm,
or 4 years?
I'm not sure. He needs to just go on and play that one out. But I understand he didn't get the money too.
Yeah, yeah. He's gonna be wanting to get paid here soon. I
Yeah.
expect him to play better. I think they're gonna have one of the best defenses in the league this year. I think they're gonna have that to depend on. They're gonna have that to fall back on, should I say? They got one of the best corners that people don't talk about in Stingley Jr. I
Yes.
don't know why he don't get talked about that much, but dude is a ball hawk. You throw it over there, you gonna fuck around and get that ball picked off. That's
Yeah.
what he do. They picked up C.J. Gardner Johnson from Philadelphia. He's gonna help. They got Will Anderson Jr. They they even squeezed a little bit of play out of Derek Barnett from Tennessee.
Yeah. Another Tennessee player they picked up was Daryl Taylor to help on the edge also.
They
So
gonna
they
win the
did it.
division.
They addressed
That's
defense. The, that's going to depend on how the offense plays. If the offense is healthy, and I see what they did, they had a lot of problems with wide receivers going down, so they went and addressed the wide receiver
mm-hmm.
position, and made sure that they had some depth, albeit young and inexperienced. They've got bodies to throw out there.
If Nick Chubb can stay healthy and he wants to, him and Joe Mixon, that's a nasty backfield.
Yeah,
But
and
I
they
was
still
telling
got
somebody for fantasy purposes, Nick Chubb may steal about 3 or 4 touchdowns away from Joe Mixon on that goal line.
keep them fresh, and then they still got Damian Pierce. So you got three backs that they can rotate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're gonna have a rotation between Chubb and Mixon, and then every now and then you'll see Damian Pierce. You won't see him a lot
Nah,
unless he
you
gets
won't
hurt.
see him a lot. But he gonna get those annoying Tyler all the Falcons carries. I'm ready for fantasy football, y'all. I can
Amen.
tell you that now.
And we are gonna in a couple of weeks we're gonna have a fantasy football show. It might be next week. Indianapolis Colts.
Mm. Is Anthony Richardson a bust?
At this point, yes.
He re-injured his shoulder. I guess what was it at OTAs?
Hmm.
He re-injured his shoulder. Daniel Jones looked better than him anyway. So Daniel Jones is probably going to be their starting quarterback. Jonathan Taylor, he looked pretty good. He was spotty. It all depends on his ankle. Uh, Josh Downs, Adnan Mitchell, they young. Let's just see. Let's see
You
what they
know,
got.
you know what I hope. I hope Daniel Jones has a good season, just so the world can realize how dysfunctional the Giants are.
I hope he have a good season too. I really do. I don't root against Dang. I rooted against him when he was with the Giants, but I ain't gonna root against him now that he with the Colts. Um, Sometimes it just takes players longer than others. What is this? His fourth or fifth year?
I think it's his fifth.
He got
It
drafted
is.
whenever the draft was here.
Yep. Oh, this is seventh year. Shit.
Is it seven?
Yeah.
God damn, it's been that long.
It's been that long. Don't seem like
Damn, the Giants suck. Anyway,
it.
um, as far as yeah, like I said about Anthony Richardson, man, it's looking like he was a bust. Um, I see Jonathan Taylor having another year where he probably lead the league in carries. Uh,
They picked up Khalil
I
Herbert to back him up.
got Khalil Herbert. That's a pretty good pickup from Chicago. When it comes to Indy, man, they just one of those teams that you don't want to watch. So I really they do. They still got Mo Alley Cox as a tight end
They got Mo Alley Cox. They drafted Tyler Warren, who's going to be the next Dallas Clark.
from Penn State.
from Penn State.
He's a
They draft.
beast.
They also drafted DJ Giddens, the running back from Kansas State, late, and they drafted Riley Leonard out of Notre Dame late.
The
So
quarterback.
yeah,
Yeah, he may be their backup.
he may be. Uh, they drafted JT Toy Malou out of Ohio State, defensive end
Yeah, he
or
was a beast
rushing.
for Ohio State last year.
Yep. So I mean, they made some quiet moves. They didn't make nothing that was really splashy. But if Daniel Jones can put it together, they might have a decent season.
I think they will.
I think Adon,
Jonathan Taylor. That's my thing about this team. Jonathan Taylor got to stay healthy.
I think Adonai Mitchell, he may be the breakout player for them this year.
And not Mitchell over Josh Downs.
Yes.
Wait,
Josh Down,
then you said that about Michael Pittman.
Josh Downs is established. People know what he can do. He just got to put it together consistently.
We ain't say nothing about Pittman Jr.
We know what he can do.
He's supposed to be their number one. I
Supposed
completely
to be.
slipped my mind.
Supposed to be.
They got a hell of a wide receiving core in.
They do.
Okay, I
Just
see
got
you, Indy. My bad.
just got to put it together.
What
Who
was
else?
the guy that every time Anthony Richardson threw the ball deep, the little white dude to catch every damn thing? What's his name?
Alec Pierce.
Alec Pierce. He's still there.
Yeah, he's still there.
Okay, Andy, you got
Uh,
something going now.
they do. They got to stay healthy and put it together.
Okay, because I know on
They
defense they
question his
got
quarterback.
Zaire Franklin. They got a pretty cool little defense.
Yeah.
Okay, Andy, I could have been wrong. You may be something I need to watch.
Oh, and you said Mo Ali Coxey tight end, and then Tyler Warren tight end. They also signed Albert O, who hadn't put things together. I mean, he's talented, or he has the
Hmm.
potential to be talented, but he's never put it together in the NFL.
His last name too long. That's why.
Yeah, and then they got Jelani Woods. I mean,
Okay, okay, Andy, I apologize.
they got something to work with. Shit.
They do. My bad, Andy. They got a new defensive coordinator. From Cincinnati. I forgot about that. Lou Anarumo. Is that how you say his name? Lou Anarumo. That's how you say it.
See something. Abraham
They
said, I think Daniel Jones would be a good fit.
I
I
think
think
he
you're
will
right.
too. They
Yeah.
got the corner from the 49ers, Charvarius Ward.
Travarius Ward. Yeah.
Indy, I want to apologize. My
See,
bad. I'm and
you just did what I always do to you. I sit there and talk shit, and then at the end of the conversation, I end up having to apologize to you a lot of times.
I'm Indianapolis. I want to apologize. I have given Houston a division. Houston may have to play. Houston, you know what? This may be the surprise division this year.
Houston still got it, but Indianapolis might sneak a few in.
I,
Uh,
I don't know, man. Because I'm, you may be presently surprised what I'm gonna say about these next two teams, but we gonna see.
oh,
Hmm.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Another thing that pissed me off about Cleveland, since we're on the subject of Jacksonville, if you knew you wasn't gonna draft Shador, why in the hell did you trade that pick when you could have had Travis Hunter and then later on get Shador as well? Man, they don't want to win. Go ahead. I'm done.
They don't. So they changed coaches and GMs this offseason. They hired Liam Cohen, who was the offensive coordinator the past two seasons at Tampa Bay, which
Hmm.
I think it was a good hire, but he needs to learn one thing. It's not Duval.
No, that's awful. And don't ever do it again either. It's Duval.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that somebody should coach him up on that before he got there so he didn't embarrass himself. but he is a good offensive mind. And I say this because, yes, he helped Baker Mayfield look good in Tampa Bay, but he is also the only coach that has ever made Will Levis look good when he was at the University of Kentucky.
You make sure you say that every time.
All the fucking time. So people know. People be like,
We
what
got
happened
we
to
got
Will
to speak
Levis?
on this too, man. They
What's up?
got one of the youngest GMs, James Gladstone, 34 years old.
Hmm.
He's one of the youngest GMs in the NFL. He comes from the Rams. Just giving him a shout out. That it looks like Jacksonville. They're going in a whole new direction. New got GM, got new head coach. So let's see. Let's see.
And
What you
and
got.
what some people don't realize that Liam Cohen was also with the Rams before he was with Tampa Bay. So he has a relationship with this GM because he's seen him around and they have worked together a little bit in the past.
Hmm.
So that might be good for their front office to go younger with a fresh mindset and somebody that actually gets along with your coach.
Yeah. Just to get to it, I will say that I call Kevin Stefanski a lame duck. This may be a lame duck season for Trevor Lawrence if he don't get his act together. He may get shipped out after this season.
He might. They no longer have Mac Jones to back him up, so that's going to be interesting. I wonder if they're going to make a move after training camp when people start to get cut. Because right
Hmm.
now their second string quarterback is Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins had a 2 or 3 game stretch when he was in San Francisco where he looked pretty decent. But other
Yep.
than that, he hadn't done nothing.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting season for Jacksonville. Is Travis Etienne, Tank Bixby, Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr. You lost Christian Kirk. Don't they got Gabe Davis, don't they? Did they
Uh,
pick up Gabe
no,
Davis?
Gabe Davis signed somewhere else in the offseason, but they did sign Diami Brown out of Washington.
Washington, okay. They had Gabe Davis last year.
Yep.
Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it.
They got Parker Washington out of Penn State. Um, they don't have a lot of depth at receiver,
Mm-mm.
so that's probably why Travis Hunter is going to be at receiver. I personally thought he should be at corner, but it is what it is. You do what's best, what you feel is best for your team.
They lost Evan Ingram.
They did. At tight end, they have Brent Strange,
Hmm.
and other than that, a bunch of nobodies.
This team may struggle a bit this year.
Oh, they will.
I got to put India ahead of them. Once we
Yeah,
sat there and broke down India, I may have to put India ahead of finishing ahead of them.
yeah. They might be setting themselves up for Arch Manning.
That's what I'm saying. If Trevor Lawrence come in and it's just pedestrian or it's no promise to it, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
The trade whirlwind started happening last year anyway. And then he took that big hit from Isaiah King from Houston or whatever that knocked him out, and he never came back. So I can see that.
I mean, a fresh start somewhere else might be good for him, but at the same time, this coach might be good for him too.
Yeah, it could be.
All
We'll
right.
see. I want Trevor Lawrence to do well. I like Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. I like him in Jacksonville.
Let's see. Other than that, they didn't really make any splashes in the draft. Um, yeah, they're gonna struggle a little bit.
Come on,
Then
man.
the
I know you can't wait for this.
Tennessee Titans. Of course, I couldn't wait for it. They my team. I talk shit about them every year, but I don't let nobody else talk shit about my team now.
Well, it's on record that you was no longer a Titans fan.
No,
You
it's on
denounced your
record.
rights on the show.
It,
Chat, chat.
it's
Y'all heard him.
if you look at my Facebook post, I did a whole bunch of crying about Titans.
You did.
I I I I pretty much said I didn't know where I was with them. I was thinking about leaving them. They hurt me. It's like a bad relationship.
Yeah. And once you keep getting your heart broke, it's time to go.
Hey, I'm that they the toxic ex at 2 a.m. That's who
Why
they are.
you keep why you keep answering the damn phone for 'em?
Hey
Come
man,
on over here to Philadelphia.
hey man, because it's something I'm familiar with.
In all seriousness, though, if I don't say nothing good about Tennessee, I hope Cam Ward has a hell of a season this year. I really want that for him.
Yeah. If any of
It
you
ain't got
guys, if any of
good.
you guys collect football or baseball cards and you run across any Cam Ward, hit me up before you sell me. Anybody else, please.
I really, really, really hope they put this kid in position to succeed. I don't care about when it comes to this team. We can talk about Tajay Spears. We can talk about Tony Pollard. I know they no longer have Westbrook Akine. They picked up Tyler Lockett. Put this kid in a position to where he can succeed because I think he can do special things, given the opportunity to do special things.
So at the end of his college football season, when they win the bowl game, one thing I didn't like that people kept trying to point out, they said he quit on his team after he broke the record. The coach took him out. It wasn't like he said, "Hey, after I break this record, I'm done." The
Mhm.
coach let him break the record, and then the coach took him out. So technically, he did not quit on his team.
Even if he did, let's say even if he did, this is what my problem with the college football stuff. Even if he did want to break the record and not play, he ain't had the shit to play for. If you're not in the college football playoff, those other bowl games are pretty much irrelevant.
Yeah,
And you don't want to be like the guy from Ole Miss. I'm Matt Corral, is that his name?
yeah,
Played
Matt
in the
Corral,
bowl game, and he was going to be a high draft pick, and he hurt his knee and was out.
and they ain't been the same since.
He ain't been the same since. So even if he did do that, you know this kid is high character. He's a competitor. You seen enough of what he did in that 12 game season to not question whether this kid is a quit or not. Oh, don't do that. You didn't do that with nobody else. You didn't do it when Christian McCaffrey or anybody else done it. So don't do it with Cam Ward. Stop that, man.
Yeah.
The dude want to win. He's a competitor, and I think he gonna come to Tennessee and he gonna play his heart out.
And he got the right attitude.
Yes, he got a great attitude.
I mean, for him, it's all work, work, work. He don't want to make
And
no rap songs with Shadura. He wants to work.
I was just about to say, if y'all seen those quarterback videos where him and Shador was going against each other, Shador knows that he has a brand. I don't think Cam Ward care nothing about none of that. This dude want to play football. That's all he want to do.
Look how he came dressed to the draft. A simple suit. He's
Mm-hmm.
about business. He can't. He's not caring about the flash. He
Mm-mm.
wants to win. He
I
literally
like I,
wants to be the greatest quarterback of all time.
I like this for Tennessee. Tennessee got the fourth easiest schedule. I'm pretty sure this is my problem with Tennessee. I want to say that I'm sure he gonna start week one, but I'm not. I'm just not sure. It's gonna piss me off if he don't start. I'm telling you that.
I can tell you, Levis is not the option.
He's not.
We all
It's
know
time.
that.
It's over with.
Training camp is gonna be make or break for Cam Ward whether he starts or not. But I think he's gonna be headed towards starting. They still need to add some pieces around him. But they still need to add some pieces in a lot of places on this team.
Hmm.
And I don't think that they're done. I think once they start to see final cuts of other teams, then they're gonna cut some people and they're gonna pick up some people.
I hope. Who is their wide receiver one?
You really don't know, really? Calvin Ridley?
So they don't have a wide receiver one, is what you're telling me.
Calvin Ridley is a wide receiver one.
For who?
Calvin Ridley is a wide receiver one.
It's over. It's over, T. I call you Hack. It's hard for me to call you T now, but it's over. Y'all don't have a wide receiver one.
No, Calvin Ridley is a legit wide receiver one. We don't have a wide receiver two
He
or three.
used to be a legit wide receiver
He
one.
still is.
I don't think he got it no more.
He still got it.
He don't have the attitude to make
Yes,
me believe that he wants to be a wide receiver one.
he does. His leadership is quiet. He goes out there and plays football. I mean, a couple of times last year he did say he wanted the ball because Will Levis wasn't getting the ball. But when you throw him the ball, he produces.
That don't make you a wide receiver one. That just make you do your job.
He'll he'll wide receiver one. He
Oh,
still is. I think they
we
overpaid. I think they overpaid for him.
well no, because if he's a wide receiver one making $25 million a year, he's underpaid.
And
If you
but
telling
he
me
is
he's a
now.
wide receiver one,
He is now. But when he signed that contract, I was like, man, that's a good move, but they overpaying him. But then the following contracts that came out, I was like, shit, we got a deal.
you got a deal because he's not a wide receiver one.
He is.
You literally just he's not a he has wide receiver one ability. But in today's game, if you sit here and you think about all the wide receiver ones, we'll just put it this way: if you play fantasy football, in them first 3 rounds, if your wide receiver one ain't getting picked, he ain't a wide receiver one, and you not picking. Calvin really may be a wide receiver one and don't even get picked.
Calvin Ridley will have 70 catches and over 1,000 yards this year.
That's cute. Jamal Chase had that in about 6 weeks.
Well, I mean, of course you're gonna get. Well, of course you're gonna get there when you're playing from behind. We're gonna be playing from behind a lot. They also signed Van Jefferson. Um, they
Tyler
signed
Lockett.
they signed an undrafted free agent Xavier Restrepo, which was his number one target in Miami.
We talked about that. I liked it. I'm glad
I
they
do.
did that.
I hope he sticks, but he still plays the same role that Tyler Lockett plays. So we keeping two slots.
That may be good for him.
Yep.
Depending on how his offensive line play, he may play how I play college football and just dink and dunk the whole damn time down the field.
And I will say I like the way they've approached this free agency as far as adding serviceable pieces, but they're adding people on 1 year contracts. So if they don't work out, the dead cat's not going to hit next year. So still work in progress. We'll be all right.
Yeah, y'all gonna be fine, man. I just want him to do well. That's all. I don't care about the team. The
Me
hell
too,
with the
but
team.
but
I
but
just
I'll
want
be
him to do good.
I'll be crying half the season.
Well, you shouldn't, because you said you was done with him, so it ain't gonna make no
No,
difference.
no. How many times somebody, a victim of domestic assault, talking about I'm done, put the shit on Facebook, talk dog shit about him, but next week you're right back together.
Yeah,
I'm
and
telling you, it's a
some don't.
toxic. It's a toxic relationship.
Sometimes you gotta let it go.
I can't.
If you make a post as a man, we ain't talking about no relationship. A woman can give you great sex and you will come back. This team ain't gave you nothing but soft dick and grief. Your ass, you should not be a Titans fan.
And
As
you
a
know,
man, when you denounce your team, because I denounced Nebraska, but I came back only because Florida State sucked even worse. Only because Florida State sucked even worse.
honestly, if they hadn't have drafted Cam Ward, I might have been headed towards the door. But I'm still here. I'm still a Titans fan. All right, let's move on to this AFC West, so we can finish up this show. Um, Denver Broncos.
That was my surprise team. You know what? I say this about this division. I don't think Kansas City gonna cakewalk through this division this season.
They can't. This will actually be one of the tougher divisions. I did not expect um Sean Payton to do with this team what he did last year.
Me either.
I knew he was a good offensive mind, but I knew that they were still salary cap strapped because of cutting Russell Wilson. So it's not like they can go out and get a bunch of pieces, but
Hmm.
they did good with what they had.
Bo Nick surprised me. Out of all the quarterbacks last year that was rookies, he surprised me the most. At one point, it was arguable that he was the best looking quarterback out of that draft.
Yep, and then
He
Jalen
had
Daniels
about
stole
a
the
two or
show.
three streak week, 2 or 3 week stretch where I was like, man, shit, he may be the best one.
I mean, you couldn't deny that he was right there, number two though.
He was definitely number 2.
Yep. I mean, it's hard to beat what Jaden Daniels did too, but uh, they got some stuff to work with. They got J.K. They signed J.K. Dobbins at running back.
Mm-hmm.
They still got McLaughlin as the third down back. They still got a Stemme.
Audrey Estime from Notre Dame.
Yep,
Javante Williams went to Dallas.
yep.
He wasn't doing that no way. Picked up
They
Evan
wide
Ingram,
they wide receivers are still suspect.
Cortland Sutton, Franklin. Didn't they pick up Evan Ingram from Jacksonville?
They did pick up Evan Ingram.
That'll be big for them.
Yep. They signed Trent Sherfield. He's the okay backup. They still got Marvin Mims. He made a few plays last year. Yeah, they still suspect on the wide receiver front. They got Devon Valet still. I think he did pretty good for being a first year receiver last year.
Mm-hmm. Denver's bread and butter a lot on the other side of the ball,
Defense.
and it only got better.
I mean, you can only throw to one side of the field on them.
Man, throw over there to number 2 if you want to. And they picked up Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga from the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm telling you, this defense may be so good it may give Vance Joseph a head coaching job next year.
They drafted Jade Barron out of Texas to play corner.
Yep, he'll be on the other side.
Yep.
They finna shut some teams down, man.
Let's see who else they got at DB real quick. Uh,
Riley
they,
Moss.
Riley Moss, the other white boy.
Hey
Yeah,
man,
as long as they stay healthy, they'll be fine.
get your white cornerback, you'll be all right.
Hey man, look, I was so glad to see him and old boy that y'all got.
Cooper
I can't think of
DeJean.
his name. Yeah, Cooper DeJean,
Mm-hmm.
because Jason Sehorn, he was one of my favorite cornerbacks just because he was white and didn't fit the stereotype of a cornerback, and he locked folks down.
He did.
I, I
Cooper
love I
DeJean.
love I love seeing people beat stereotypes.
Me too. That's why I root for every black quarterback.
And black punters, Reggie Roby,
I root. It was another one. What was his name?
uh,
Marquette King or something like that.
Marquette King. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I
I'm still
sure
waiting
do.
for a black kicker to come along
Hold on now.
because destroying ain't gonna make it.
No, no. A black place kicker. I don't know.
I don't know.
Sometimes you
Maybe
gotta let
Deshaun
shit
Watson
go.
gonna be a kicker.
He gonna have to do something. That he gonna have to do something. Anyway, man, let's go on.
Uh,
Oh, we got the
yeah,
Super Bowl runner up.
the Kansas City Thieves.
I want to see what they gonna look like early in the season because I know Rasheed Rice gonna get suspended at least 3 or 4 games, if not 6 or whatever.
Ain't no telling. They got Hollywood Brown back. He came back at the end of the season a little faster than I thought he was gonna come back, and
Hmm.
and didn't look bad. They re-signed Juju. They
Xavier
re-signed Trey
Worthy.
Smith. They let Joe Thuney go.
They did. They got uh they got Xavier Worthy. This be his second year. He
Um,
came on. He came on late in the season.
Gardner Minshew and Bailey Zappi are the backup quarterbacks. So if Mahomes go down, they at least got some serviceable people.
I want to see
Um,
what Kelsey looks like this year. I ain't gonna say he's getting old, but I'm gonna say he looked a little bit aged last year.
yeah, yeah, he definitely looked aged. They didn't really make any splashes in the draft. They did get Josh Simmons at offensive tackle, so that kind of offsets the Joe Thuney thing a little bit.
Didn't they get a corner from y'all?
No, they got a corner from California. Oh, you talking about
No,
from the
Christian
Titans?
Fulton. Christian Fulton wasn't he with y'all last season?
Last year he was with the Chargers.
Was he? He was with y'all.
Yeah, the year
Christian Fulton
before.
played. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I just don't feel like they. I'm not gonna say they are not the favorite. I just think they're gonna have to earn it. I don't think
Oh,
they going 15-2 or whatever they went last year. I don't think that's gonna happen this year.
I mean, they're gonna have to earn it in a conference first. Denver gonna give them
Yeah,
a run.
yeah, that's what I'm
The
saying.
Chargers gonna give them a run.
Yeah, they're gonna have to earn it in that division. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
You were talking about DBs. Who else did they have at DB? They still got McDuffie.
I mean, you know
They still got Jalen Watson.
they gonna be there. I just think that I think that teams seen the way that Super Bowl went, and that's how they gonna approach playing the Kansas City Chiefs from now
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, they defense is gonna be the liability.
because last year it was the priority.
Yep.
The defense was winning them games last year. Also, too, I want to see how Pacheco looks this year because he was hurt. He was out for like 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to carry the whole load because they got Kareem Hunt now.
They do have Kareem Hunt.
And then they
He'll
uh they got
probably be
Elijah
RB
they
one.
got Elijah Mitchell from San Francisco.
He'll probably be RB1. I like Kareem Hunt more than I like Pacheco. I just like he runs with that toughness that I like. But Pacheco does as well. He just get injured a lot. So what I'm saying is, don't draft a Kansas City running back in fantasy.
No, 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 no. You can stash them out of free agency this year.
Hmm.
Yeah, they offense will still be clicking, but their defense is gonna be a liability.
I want to see what their offensive line look like too.
Yeah, they gotta do some reshuffling. Um, at center, of course, Creed Humphrey, he's the starter. Um, guards, you got Trey Smith, who's gonna be the starter for sure. Uh, Jalen Moore will probably be the other starter at guard. At tackle, Wanye Morris, and then Josh Simmons and they still got Jawan Taylor. Jawan Taylor's gonna be the starting tackle.
Yeah, he gonna go outside at least 3 times a game.
I mean, hey, they just paid the man, so they gonna have to let him do it.
If you are a known offensive tackle, it's never good. I've always heard that.
Oh, they're gonna attack you. This next team is gonna be interesting.
They on the clock right now.
On the clock. I mean, Antonio Pierce was he was the interim coach. The locker room went to bat for him. He got the full time head coaching job. lost the locker room halfway through the season.
That is a hell of a turnaround. That shit was quick. He went from love to get this man out of here quick.
Yeah, but they
I
hired
think a
Pete
lot
Carroll.
of it was him
Oh,
and
go ahead.
Devontae Adams too.
Yeah, that was a lot of it.
Hmm.
Um, they hired Pete Carroll, the oldest coach in NFL football right now. Um, but he's a locker room guy. All of his
Yeah.
players love him. I don't think you've heard any player say they don't like him. Not even Marshawn Lynch when he didn't give him the ball on the one. Marshawn Lynch
Hmm.
still love him. They got Chip Kelly as offensive coordinator.
That make me not like him.
I'm wondering how it's going to work out. But they went out and got Geno Smith to play quarterback, which he is very familiar with how Pete Carroll operates. So that'll be a good thing for him.
I say they got one of the best looking tight ends that's come out in a long time. I wonder if they'll play. We talk about two tight end sets. Michael Mayer's still there, and he's not a
He
bad
is.
tight end unless you just gonna trade him and try to get something for him. But Brock Bowers is man. You drafted Ashton Jeanty.
Yep.
I want to see what that looks like because he's
Oh,
he's getting a lot of love in fantasy football right now, and I just want to see what it looked like.
um, I don't like the fact that Chip Kelly made him change his stance. I
Jeanty,
understand. Yep, I understand the NFL is faster, but at the same time, if a kid was comfortable doing something and he was
let him do
efficient
it.
with it, let's do it.
Hmm.
Make changes once it's broken. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. They also signed Raheem Mostert as a backup. They
I like that backfield.
yeah, they extended Max Crosby. They added Jermaine Pratt at linebacker, Devin White at linebacker, Jalen Smith at linebacker. They got Eric Stokes as corner, Jeremy Chin as a safety.
They got
I mean,
oh my goodness, went to Clemson. Christian Wilkins, I like him.
I'm looking at these other moves. Oh, Dante Thornton Jr. from Tennessee.
You just had to get a vowel in there.
I know, but he didn't. He looked okay in the Tennessee offense, but that offense is not built to promote wide receivers to the NFL, which he got overlooked a little bit. Once they look back at his Oregon tape, they saw a lot with him that showed that he is NFL caliber. I mean, he's 6'4", 6'5", and he runs in 4.3s. That's
I,
gonna help them a
I,
lot in the long run.
I just think the Raiders gonna struggle because of the division.
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. Um,
Geno Smith gonna get his ass killed in there. Who they back up? Is it Gardner Minshew?
no, Gardner Minshew is with the Chiefs now. Um, his
It's
backup his backup is Cam Miller, who is a rookie out of North Dakota State.
mm, mm, mm.
Um, Aiden O'Connell,
Ain't no Connell. There you go.
he did okay.
Yeah, with what he had, he did okay.
Yeah. They still got Zamir White at running back. So you got Zamir White, Raheem Mostert, and you got Genty. So backfield's gonna be all right. Um, Wide receivers. They drafted Zachary Franklin out of Illinois. He's a speedster. Um, they signed Colin Johnson. I forgot who he was with. I think who was Johnson with last year? See, you gonna make me look it up.
Yeah, go
He
and
was
look it
he
up, man.
he was a decent backup, but he was with Chicago last year.
So what you telling me? The Raiders gonna go 5-12?
If
and they gonna draft Drew Allen.
I mean, they gonna have to draft somebody because they ain't got a whole lot of wide receiver. They got Jacoby Myers. That's it.
They got Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers.
That's it. I could
Michael
see
Mayer,
them.
honorable mention.
Yeah, I could see them picking up a veteran wide receiver that gets cut.
Amari Cooper is still available.
Still available, but Amari Cooper is not the same wide receiver he used to be.
I
I mean,
mean,
he's
he
better.
ain't.
He's better than 4 or 5 receivers on this team.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Get him.
That's an option. This team's gonna have some growing pains. I just hope that they find a coaching waiting situation like they used to do in New England, and
Hmm.
have Pete Carroll groom him and get him ready because I don't know how long he has left in coaching, but for 70 something years old,
He
he
coached like
move
he 50 something.
he move around better than I do.
He sure do. You wouldn't think that he was 73 years old.
Not at all exuberant. All right, last team of the show, the Los Angeles Chargers.
I'm still getting used to the Los Angeles.
Hey man, Jim Harbaugh did better with this team than I thought he did. Well, I thought he would,
11-6.
and they moved some pieces around during the offseason too.
They did. I don't know if this is irrelevant. Well, it probably is, but I know they picked up Trey Lance.
Yeah, Trey Lance as a backup. They got Taylor Heineke as a backup. So
They went out and they went out. They kind of revamped their offense. They got Najee Harris. They got Mike Williams back. They got Tyler Conklin. They got Mekhi Becton. They got the center Andre James, and they got a defense. Well, we'll talk about defense in a minute. I like what they did on defense as far as signings, but they also in the draft picked up the running back Omarion Hampton. I
that's gonna
like
be
that.
major. That's gonna be
Yeah,
major. They got another tight end that he was fifth round tight end, but I think he might surprise some people in Aronde Gadsden.
I remember him.
Yeah, and then they got Trey Harris, receiver out of Mississippi. Um, that may help a little bit.
I like this team. Hopefully, they can keep Justin Herbert healthy and upright because he takes a lot of big hits.
He
He
does.
really
They
don't
addressed the
miss a
offensive
lot of
line.
time, but he takes a lot of big unnecessary hits.
Yeah. They
But I
definitely
tell you,
addressed the offensive line to help him out.
I love me some Lad McConkey though. I tell you that.
He was
Keenan
definitely
Allen is
surprised
still
to
a
me last
free
year.
agent, ain't
Who? Keenan Allen? I believe so. Um,
he? Hmm.
I just looked real quick and the name I saw as the fourth quarterback on their roster, DJ.
Uwe Agalale,
Yep.
he'll never get in the game.
Might not make it through training camp.
Cut him now. Where the scissors at? I'll do it
Hey,
for you.
now, what if he comes in and he's a better quarterback under a better offense coordinator?
Ain't no way.
Okay, okay. I was just asking.
Has it ever been a time where an NFL quarterback had a better career than he did in college?
Mm,
Chad, who sucked in college and came and had a good NFL career.
Tom Brady.
Other than that's a good one. That is a damn good one. But I don't think he sucked. I just don't think they knew what he had, and he was behind Drew Henson. I'm talking about where DJ Uiagalelei got benched, he transferred, and he just kind of fell completely off.
Yeah. I mean, he was the highest ranked one of the highest ranked quarterbacks coming out of high school.
Yeah,
So I don't know where his fall off was, but yeah, he definitely fell off. Yeah, we need to talk about this. Hold on.
What, Henry Ruggs?
Henry Ruggs. I think he gets out next year.
He
Do
does.
you think he gets the opportunity to come back?
He'll be in Dallas.
Perfect fit.
That's that's my prediction. He'll be
That's
in
a
Dallas.
perfect fit. That's a perfect fit. Speaking of wide receivers, actually, running backs for the Chargers. Uh, of course, they signed Najee Harris and they drafted Amarian Hampton, but they also got Raheem Rocket Sanders. Are you familiar with him?
Mm-mm. No, I'm not.
He was a good running back at Arkansas, transferred to South Carolina for his final season, and he went undrafted, surprisingly, but he's pretty good. And then
Okay.
they also got Hassan Haskins still, so they
From
got
Michigan.
serviceable running backs. Huh?
From Michigan.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
used to be a Titan. And of course, you mentioned Lad McConkey. They still got Quentin Johnston. Uh, they got Jalen Rager. They got Mike Williams back. Um,
I wonder
tight
why
end
they brought back Mike Williams and not Keenan Allen.
might be a difference in money. I don't know. I don't know.
And then
Keenan Allen might still
why
come
is
back.
no I'm trying to figure out why ain't nobody picking up Keenan Allen. He did say he wanted to play for the Bears or the Chargers though. He did say that. But he didn't have a bad season last year.
It might be one of those situations where they wait until his price tag come down.
That's true. He is about to what, 33, 32, somewhere in there.
Yeah, he on the backside of that career.
Yeah, you can't be asking for that much damn money.
Nope.
Anyway, man, I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. I know we ran a little long. It's an hour and 42 minutes, but
Well, Sunday show is gonna be about the same.
y'all been asking for it, and you got it.
We're gonna do it, and we'll do the NFC on Sunday, and then next week on Wednesday we'll go ahead and do a fantasy football show. We'll let the summer league get over with NBA, and then we'll cover some of the NBA stuff.
We can do it. It's gonna be great.
Oh my God. Oh, as a matter of fact, uh, well, I was gonna say if you ain't got the college football yet, I think it's gonna be a good game. There's a couple of glitches in it right now because it's early release. But Mike
Hmm.
whooped my ass the other day, and I don't appreciate it.
In his defense, we was playing last night. He was probably gonna beat me. The game glitched out or whatever, but I play the game different than everybody else. I just play like I watch football. I
And
just do
as
what
you
needs to
should.
be done.
Well, this year's game, they made it where it's not a bunch of cheese plays. You got to know how to play football to actually be good.
Yeah.
So once I started playing football again, then I was doing all right. But anyway,
The rest of you low lifes and scragglers who didn't pre-order, y'all will get it tomorrow.
you petty. You is petty. All right, folks. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see y'all again Sunday. Um, probably noontime.
I'll be here.
All right, we'll make a post and let y'all know for sure, but it's looking like noontime. Other than that, we out.